All right, looks like we're live. Let's make sure it's going out okay on the old YouTubes. No robot voice or nothing. Come on. Come on. All right, sounds good. So I have off tonight, even though it's should be my Friday. New schedule. The schedule's a little erratic. So I was on call tonight, but 2 hours has gone by almost, so I won't have to go in. So I decided I'd stream. And since I was off and wasn't sure I was going to be off, I'm kind of wide awake late night, so I decided I just got home maybe 20 minutes ago. I decided I'd go to Walmart. Now, I know a lot of people. Well, here's the thing. Having been to the Walmart, not just tonight, but a few times in the last couple of years, not that many because it's terrible, but the Walmart is it's an absolute hellscape. It's awful. Now, there are a lot of people, especially among the more, I don't know, alternative right, esoteric right, dissident right, whatever you want to call it, kind of hate the Walmart almost in concept. I really don't. I've never had a problem with it, and I just like the fact that it's open all the damn time. Over the years, throughout most of my adulthood, I worked odd shifts. I worked second shift, third shift, stuff like that. So having having stores with hours like that is quite the blessing. But I find it really interesting because the Walmart in my area, well, I guess there's a few, but the one right kind of close to me, down the road from it, not even a mile, is the Target in this area. Not even a mile. Same bus route, even. Pretty sure the bus goes that far down. If not, it goes damn close. And yet there's something about the Target where they keep the riffraff out that the Walmart doesn't do. Now, I was in the Walmart tonight, and part of the reason, let's be honest, is Walmart caters to the Hispanics, at least in my area, a lot more than the Target does. Target's also all about the Swiffles, and I mean Walmart. You got some of the Hispanic employees there that have the big Hablo Espanol button on their vest. They serve all that Goya food and shit like that. Yeah, but it's amazing how fucking trashed the Walmart is anymore. Just shits everywhere. Like they obviously don't have enough people working there. They can't keep up with the fucking animals they cater to. The Target right down the road is actually pretty nice. It's very interesting. I've often joked, I'm like, whatever it is Target's doing to keep the riffraff out, we as a nation need to look at and learn from. And I realize everyone shits on the Target recently for the trannies in the bathroom and stuff. And I've even had people say like, oh, you need to boycott the Target because I'm like, no, I'm not going back to Walmart on a regular basis. Yeah, that's just not happening. Somebody says it ain't Friday morning, damn it. Well, yeah, it is. Here on the East Coast. Here on the East Coast it is, unless I got my days fucking wrong. Yeah, it's Friday. I mean, I know I'm on third shift, so I get the fucking days mixed up. But yeah, it's we are 44 minutes into Friday here on the East Coast. Let's see. Here in the chat, Jolly Crocodile is talk about Kraut, you hack fraud. Talk about the skeptics, you Jew. Somebody says there's already enough people talking about that shit. Somebody says talk about it anyway. I don't know what the hell you want me to say about it. I mean, are we surprised? I mean, shit. Like, Holy shit, fedoras don't have any honor? Who knew? Who knew? It is telling. I mean, I knew it, of course, but it is telling how much these fucking fedoras turn into basically, I don't know, anti-science creationists almost when it comes to race. You know, we're all, according to them, we're all nothing but biological machines, but race has no biological effects beyond the color of your skin. You know, it's a, I mean, I'm glad that it's happening. I'm glad that it's coming to light. I'm glad that, you know, the skeptic community is imploding as the shitbags that they are. I mean, I've talked on here numerous times. You know, Sargon's a piece of shit, and he's probably the best of the bunch. Sargon is the least shitty of all the YouTube skeptics, and he's shitty. Okay. I mean, look, I don't go nearly as far as some in my audience probably do. I'm, as I've often said, I don't consider myself a white nationalist. I'm sympathetic to the goals and concerns of white nationalism, but I can't be on board with it. I really can't get on board with it. And I consider myself a race realist. I mean, look, you have to have your head pretty far up your own ass to think that race doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not all that matters, not by a long shot. Um, but you know, oh, we're all people. We're all people. Well, nobody's saying we're not. All right, but a Rottweiler and a Chihuahua, and you know, a Doberman and a German Shepherd and a Cocker Spaniel are all dogs. It doesn't mean they're the same. They have physical differences. They have differences in IQ. They have differences in general temperament. And yes, I know, like people, individual dogs can defy the norms of their breed in temperament and personality and all, like people. But those differences are there. They're real. They matter. Somebody says, Bechtloff, you need to look closer into this Star Wars business and look at what they did with Last Jedi. It's not just that they palmed off a subpar in that movie. As a cash grab, you need to appreciate how truly converged this movie is. I don't care. It's Star Wars. I don't care. You know, I never cared about Star Wars a great deal, and I stopped caring about it halfway through episode 1 when I was watching it in the theater. All right. And I haven't been given a reason to start caring about it since. It's fucking Star Wars. All right. It was never that good in the first damn place. And it hasn't been good as a movie franchise since the year I was born, and I'm getting kind of old. You know, I don't care. And here's the thing: everybody's mad about it. Everybody says it sucks, and that's fine. I mean, hell, Mark Hamill. If you see Mark Hamill interviewed, he barely tries to hide his open contempt for these new Star Wars movies that I guess he's just contractually obligated to participate in. Somebody says you don't care about a kids movie that's decades old. What the fuck? um, I will say one interesting thing about this that I don't hear a lot. Like a lot of people are talking about this, so I don't feel the need to chime in generally. But one interesting thing I see, and I see this about a lot of things anytime a franchise goes on for a while, there's sort of these two camps. There's the guys who just want, you know, they just want more of this thing forever with almost no concern to quality. And I would say a lot of Star Wars fans fall into this lot, you know. I mean, no matter how we've seen this for now 6 movies, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how bad it gets, they line up for the next one. Like they have no fucking memory of the last one. So there's people that just want it to continue forever, like some sort of fucking comfort food. Then there's people who they constantly run their mouth about how this or that should have ended. Should have ended there. Should have ended there. It's like, two movies or something, or two games, or two, whatever it is, two books in a series, whatever. Oh, it's robot again. God damn it. Hang on. Fixing it. Okay, that should be fixed. Honest to God, that pisses me off so much. And there's nothing I can do about it. The DSP, there's nothing I can do. At times I borderline want to just stop fucking doing this altogether. It pisses me off. It pisses me off more than probably the audience. Anyways, what's interesting is you get the guys that are just, they're so anxious to see every fucking thing end. It's like this weird, like, I don't know, almost aversion to sequels or something like that. Where it's like, oh, it's just, this should have ended, blah, blah, blah. Almost at points where it's like things are still good and they're like, should have ended. And I never really got that either. Here's the thing about Star Wars. And again, I'm not even a huge fan. Star Wars is a pretty interesting fictional universe. And the people that say, well, it was just these 3 movies and it should have ended there. Well, how about it should have just kept going and not sucked? How about that? Like we could have done that. All right. And to be honest, if you'd just gotten some actual fucking creative people involved in it, some people to tell George Lucas no, you could have made like fucking 40 Star Wars movies and they'd all be good. Okay, there's plenty of stories to be told in that fictional universe. In fact, a lot of people will say Rogue One is good, which kind of proves my point that when you get off the beaten path and tell side stories in this universe, you might end up with something good. A lot of people that are Star Wars fans, they praise very highly all the expanded universe stuff, the various novels and comics and video games and cartoons and what have you that, are all off the beaten path. So, I kind of, how about like it doesn't have to be like you either have to end something prematurely or, drag it on until it becomes a shambling corpse. How about you just tell more stories when you have more story to tell? All right. How about that? And yeah, something like the Star Wars universe is it's a very interesting fictional universe. You could have told a lot of interesting stories in there. That's not what they're doing. I mean, storytelling, that's not what Disney's doing. I don't even know what you call what Disney's doing, but somebody is saying Marvel is now canceling all but 2 of its current SJW comic books. Yeah, I've heard a lot of the shittier SJW titles are going bye-bye. It's like America Chavez, which is, dude, it's like way to make the Durka Miss Marvel seem better. But here's the other thing, Star Wars nerds. You realize, like, these movies are never going to stop as long as you keep seeing them. Like, stop going to see it. Well, I'm just going so I can bitch about it. No. How about you wait till you Redbox it to bitch about it or something? Then you can spend a couple of bucks at the fucking Redbox and you and all your buddies can watch it at the same time. How about that? But yeah, this idea that, like, this aversion to sequels I've never understood. Take RoboCop, for example. RoboCop is one of the finest sci-fi action movies of the 80s. One of the finest sci-fi action movies, period. And the sequels sucked. I don't know. Two is it had its moments, but there were a lot of massive rewrites. Point is, the sequels are not. They're certainly not good. They're not what RoboCop sequels should have been. Okay. Now here's the thing. I don't look at this one great movie and the shitty sequels and say RoboCop should have ended after one. I say RoboCop should have had better sequels. That's what I say. All right. Because frankly, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting enough concept. You could make a dozen RoboCop. You could make a dozen good RoboCop movies easily. That's obviously not what they did, but you could. So yeah, I'm never one of these guys like, or should have ended. Should have ended. Should have been this. Like they should stop making this or that thing, or you know what? How about they just make it better? You know. I mean, there's a lot of time. Something like RoboCop, something like Aliens, something like Predator, something like I don't know, Ghostbusters, for example. These are all franchises that you could tell you could tell a million cool stories with, right? Um, Very rarely do you have something really really cool where there's just really no way you should do a sequel to it. That this story is so completely self-contained that a sequel can do nothing but lessen it. And the stories like that do exist, by the way, but they're the rarity. Um, Somebody says Bechtloff. I saw Leap, really liked it. Reignited my interest in ballet. Yeah, I was shocked at how much I liked it. I'm of the opinion that some franchises need to die. Oh, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you end up with a franchise that has been so butchered that maybe it does need to die. I just contend that it didn't have to get to that point. Let me put it that way. Um, I mean, arguably, Star Wars needs to die at this point because Star Wars is worse than dead. Star Wars is this shambling, horrific undead. Um, Holy shit, Razor Fist is in my chat. Um, Razor Fist, if you want to hop in, go ahead and message me. I think you can DM me on Gab. But yeah, I've never taken a position that, you know, there's some people that almost want to be like hipsterish against sequels, and I've never taken that position. Like the one movie I can think of off the top of my head, and it actually had sequels, which I never thought, where I think a sequel is just inherently a mistake, is Cube, the horror movie Cube, because the greatest thing about Cube is how little you know. There's a movie Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher, which even though I don't like Ashton Kutcher at all, I thought was a pretty cool movie. They supposedly made direct to video sequels of that, which is sounds like a terrible idea. Let's see. I might get, DM Razor Fist here. See if he wants to hop in. If he doesn't, that's fine, but give him a chance to hop in. All right, Razor Fist, if you want to hop in, I sent you a DM on Gab. Let's see. People asking Razor Fist what his opinion on the skeptic community is. I'm going to the chat here. Razor Fist mentions that they should have made Shadows of the Empire into the movie. Yeah, episode 7 was horrifically bad, though. Like, man, that was terrible. You say what you will about the prequels, but I mean, like, the prequels are like stories told by an autist. That's what it is. I mean, that when you watch the prequels, I think like George Lucas has autism. There's just no way around it. Nobody without autism can write this kind of dialogue. But at least it's a story. Like, I don't know what episode 7 is, but I sure as shit won't call it a story. There's flashes of like where there's almost a movie in there, but yeah, I don't know what you call it, but I mean, if you would rewrite episode 7 to have like the villains have a plan that isn't ridiculous and actually be like underground, I mean, why are they still as powerful as the Empire? They should be like ISIS. They should be like terrorists. And then if you have you get rid of Ray. Get rid of Ray. Just get like no, that character is irredeemable. Maybe focus on like a buddy comedy, action comedy situation with the pilot and the black stormtrooper dude. Focus a bit more on Darth autism and his parents, like Luke or Leia and Han. You might have had something there. I actually found Darth autism to be really interesting because it's a character that's insanely powerful, but it's just held back by his own faggotry. Somebody says your choices are a poor and inept story. Prequels are well put together propaganda. Disney Wars. I don't even know on episode 8, but I wouldn't even call it well put together. Episode 7 I would not call well put together. I was shocked at how bad episode 7 was. I mean, I thought the prequels were ass, but like they look like Citizen fucking Kane compared to episode 7. I mean, I thought J.J. Abrams' Star Trek was bad, and then I saw his Star Wars. It's interesting. Like when he did Star Trek, he basically tried to turn it into Star Wars. When he made Star Wars, I don't even fucking know what he was doing at that point. Let's see. We got in the chat here. Bechtloff, not the skeptic community, it's the skeptic community. Medicare's video was pretty interesting. It'll be more interesting when he gets to some of the more, I don't know, dirt around this stuff and all. But I don't know. Like I said, I mean, it's fedoras, you know? I mean, I'm not shocked at all that they act like this. This is a community that has such, pillars of character as the anal atheist. So yeah, I'm not really shocked that they act like this. Somebody says, did you watch Monu's take on The Last Jedi? I really haven't. Like, everybody has chimed in on this movie. I mean, fucking Richard Spencer hopped in on this. And everyone's like, oh, people that even criticize Spencer are like, oh, it was a really good review from Richard Spencer. And I don't care. I care as little about these new Star Wars movies as Mark Hamill seems to. Let me put it that way. Only unlike Mark Hamill, nobody's giving me a check for him. So I've heard stuff like, I don't know, like they destroy all the Jedi techs or something because Mary Sue Ray tells them that's a good idea and everybody just believes her because, I don't know, she's Mary Sue. And Yoda is there too for some reason, even though Yoda's dead. Apparently not Yoda's ghost, just fucking Yoda. He's not dead now, because raisins. I've heard Leia flies through space like goddamn Superman. Like, it just sounds like a colossal fucking train wreck. I've honestly, like, someone I know who saw it said that the little fucking rat monster is it's the closest thing to an interesting character in the movie. Let's see. People never take into account that, hang on, that the times each trilogy was made, the originals were made in the 70s audience, prequels were made for a 90s, sequels made for a 90s, sequels were made for the modern audience. Modern taste is crap. I don't know. I don't know if like the kids are all about this new Star Wars or not. I couldn't tell you. I don't exactly have my finger on the pulse of anything like that. I do know, because I'm a big nerd who likes collecting useless pieces of plastic. I know a little bit about what's going on in toy stores, and I know Star Wars merchandise isn't really selling well, and it hasn't for both of these movies. And I've seen YouTubers even cover this. Like, the Star Wars merchandise is just not moving, and the stuff that is moving is based off the older movies. And that seems a pretty good indicator. I mean, obviously, a lot of this merchandise is picked up by fucking dorks like me who want to put it on their bookshelf, but a lot of it's also picked up by kids. It's meant for fucking kids, basically. So, neither kids nor nerds seem to be picking this up. So that's a pretty good indicator. So he says Star Wars was a great movie. I give it 5 erections. Let's see. The only figure I never see on the shelves is Kylo Ren. Yeah, that one seems, but again, that's the closest thing to a real character these movies have now. Star Wars toys aren't selling now because all the main characters are ugly and lame. Yeah, for all the pushing of Rey, I don't, were there a lot of Rey costumes little girls picking up this year, or were they still just going as fucking Elsa? You know? So he says, I'd like to see the unabridged version of. I'd rather read the unabridged version of Bram Stoker's Dracula than see Star Wars again. The actress is a butterface. I don't know. Maybe this actress would be better in an actual fucking movie with actual directing and an actual script. But I mean, she's like in episode 7, she is as bad of an actress, like expressionless and soulless, as that chick from the fucking Twilight movies. So we said, you ever played Knights of the Old Republic? They should have used that as the plot of the movie. I don't believe, I could be wrong on this, but I cannot recall a time I've ever played a single Star Wars video game. I don't think I have ever played any of them. Hell, as much of a Star Trek fan as I am, I've barely touched any of those video games. Race says Power Rangers is a good example of something going on for a long time and not sucking, and it was a TV show. I couldn't tell you that. I mean, I know you came on here and gave us all a lecture on the Power Ranger canon, but there's really nothing I know about it beyond a little bit of familiarity with the original stuff. Star Wars turns the frogs gay. Bechtloff, I've seen a bunch of female, possibly thought reviewers come out and outright shit on The Last Jedi. There's a little bit of damage control where they're trying to say that like negative reviews of The Last Jedi are all fucking alt-right based or something. Here's the thing though, if we can all just agree for a moment, regardless of how much love you had for Star Wars originally as a franchise, if we can all just agree here for a moment that The Last Jedi is absolute ass and the direction of this franchise is going right into the fucking gutter, then the question is, are you going to go see the next one? That's the question. Yeah, that's the question right there. Rogue Ones, a Rogue Squadron 1 and 2 are good games. You should play them. Again, I haven't. I mean, maybe they are, but the last Star Wars film was Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, I think it's unfairly shit on. I like Return of the Jedi. Hell, I even like the fucking Ewoks. So he says, Bechtloff, did you see that Quentin Tarantino is going to be directing an R-rated Star Trek movie? I heard that. I saw like articles on like Newsarama and shit about it. I don't know. On one hand, I don't believe a movie is really going to happen until I see a trailer or at least a teaser for it. I've seen a lot of movies announced that just never come about. So yeah, I don't know. My take though is that that's probably a terrible idea. So, John Steele says no, the Ewoks were gay. See, there's a couple of reasons I kind of like the Ewoks. And one, I think it kind of shows how bloated the Empire had become. Because I don't like they had a little base there, and like I think the Death Star was in orbit above this moon or something. And like I don't believe they knew the Ewoks were there. I think that they probably, I don't know, scan the planet for any signs of like advanced civilization and just assume it's uninhabited. Like they weren't doing enough recon. Or actually, I think it was a moon, but whatever, Endor. And also, and I don't know if it was maybe supposed to be like some Viet Cong flashbacks or something, or references or whatever, but it just was funny as shit watching them guerrilla warfare the Empire. And they were mean, evil little shits too. There's that scene at the end where they're using like stormtrooper helmets as like drums or something. There's heads in those. Bechtloff, do you honestly think that female protagonists have less mass appeal over male protagonists? Probably. I don't think it's something where you can't have a good female protagonist. I don't think it's something where, it's never going to work. Most people, hell, I loved Wonder Woman. I thought Wonder Woman was, a female superhero movie, and it turned out to be the only really good DC Cinematic Universe movie. So yeah, you can do it. It just, it often doesn't work. Just kind of the nature of our species, the nature of storytelling. And especially when you have writers out there that anytime you have a female lead, it's not because they want to tell a story that happens to be about a woman. It's because they want to push an agenda. Somebody says, I remember a study coming out that men and women overwhelmingly prefer male protagonists. Yeah, that's probably true. Um, Somebody says it's a man who answers the call to adventure. Yeah, usually it is. Um, it's just that's just generally how things go. Yeah, there's exceptions, and there's nothing wrong with exploring the exceptions, but you know, tropes became common because they spoke to essential aspects of our nature. Mm-hmm. Like take the I already mentioned this a little bit and all, but take the Ghostbusters movie for example. Um, Recasting that with female characters, rebooting it with female characters, that is an incredibly masculine story because it's the story of entrepreneurship, among other things. Um, that's a male story. Now, I mean, it didn't help that the Ghostbusters movie was, I mean, essentially made out of spite. That's kind of its biggest problem. Um, Jordan Peterson, and I realize everybody's kind of shitting on him lately. It's become fashionable, but Peterson had a really good video or something where he was talking about how Beauty and the Beast is the female heroes, like are one of the quintessential female hero journeys, in that it's a woman essentially civilizing, redeeming a man through her positive influence. Um, Somebody in the chat says Ghostbusters was a great movie because it was so damn funny. The remake wasn't. Ghostbusters is damn near the perfect movie. I mean, yeah, it was incredibly funny. It was creepy and borderline scary when it needed to be. It was exciting when it needed to be. Um, it just works so well. I mean, think about it. Like, even the black character in Ghostbusters that could have easily just been there as the token black guy turns out to be a great character. He's a capable everyman who becomes an integral part of the team. He serves as a means of the scientist characters spouting exposition off of him, explaining things to him, but also to show that they've gotten this down to a routine. You know what I mean? It's got, like, he doesn't have to understand how this stuff works to be able to operate it. You know, there's that scene where he's just he's training the guy and he's just going through this routine. And of course, it's Dan Aykroyd. He's got a cigarette in his mouth, just typical working class man. And he's going through and he's like, you put the trap in the containment unit, flip the switch, light is green, trap is clean. And it's become, there he just shoved a demon into the fucking particle accelerator basically, and it's become just so routine to him. John Steele says the line is, yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Oh, that's the other interesting thing about Ghostbusters. In both movies, actually, every human enemy, every human antagonist, is a government agent. And I made a perfect example. Like, trust me, if somebody's working with nuclear fucking technology, yeah, there's a pretty good reason the Environmental Protection Agency should maybe be looking into things. All right. But that's not why, Peck was, I think, the guy's name. That's not why Dickless was there. He was there because he wanted to do a power trip. He wanted to swing his dick around, as it were, quote unquote. And it's a good example of how the petty dictators that so many of these bureaucrats become. Let's see. What's in the chat here? Oh shit! I didn't send that link to Razor Fist. I'm sorry, dude. Or did it not send? Okay, it did send. I'm sorry. It did send. Okay. For a second, it looked like it didn't send on the Gab. No, it did send. I guess he doesn't want to hop in. That's fine. He doesn't have to. I just saw him in chat. Thought he might want to. Bechtloff, what is the equivalent of the hero's journey for women? If Luke's story is about him becoming a man, a woman's story about becoming a woman. I'm not sure. Like I said, I thought Peterson's take that Beauty and the Beast was a very interesting hero's journey for a woman. I don't know. I guess if you want to get down to it, becoming a mother is kind of the hero's journey for a woman. Let's see. Somebody says the new Ocean's 8 movie should be called Red Tide 8. Somebody says a female hero's journey is like Labyrinth, saving baby brother and resisting evil temptation Goblin King. Yeah, I could see that. Going through the chat here. It would have made 2016's Ghostbusters possibly better. And again, let's face facts. Never mind that we're rebooting it and gender swapping it. Perhaps the biggest problem is that it was a massive fuck you to the franchise. I mean, it literally ends with the logo being shot in the dick. Okay? This was a movie made out of spite. There's no getting around it. But something that would have possibly redeemed it is if you'd have made it an actual sequel. Because, well, let's say, for example, the last retiring Ghostbuster wants to hang it up, and he sells the franchise and the equipment to these women, and they make a go at it. Let's say that's your story there. Now, first of all, let's get some better actresses, okay? The fat chick, she's got to go. She's terrible. Fucking Harambe's got to go. That's terrible. You need to recast that. I don't know. The other two, maybe you can keep them. I don't know. But let's say like that's the story. It's an actual sequel. First of all, it wouldn't be pissing on the original quite as much, just inherently. But also, it would have made a bit more sense for them to be women then, because it's like, men are the entrepreneurs, men are the pioneers. But women are often the thing that revitalizes something or keeps something going. They kind of maintain something. That would have been a bit. That would have made more sense and possibly not sucked. And somebody says they could have made the 90s cartoon version. That's the other thing. There was a cartoon called Extreme Ghostbusters in the 90s, which was sort of a sequel to the 80s cartoon, where it was like Egon was the last Ghostbuster and he hires a bunch of new Ghostbusters. And it's like, I think there's like a white dude in a wheelchair and there's like a black guy and there's a Hispanic girl. It's all very Burger King Kids Club fucking diversity. But they were also actual fucking characters. You could have made that into a fucking movie, and at least there would have been a chance it wouldn't have sucked balls. Because again, you wouldn't have been doing it just out of spite. I mean, make no mistake, they made the 2016 Ghostbusters as a big fuck you to all the straight white men that like Ghostbusters. Let's see. If you made them daughters of the originals, respected the original movies, you can even just make one of them the daughter of the original, of one of the original guys or something. Again, Ghostbusters is something. First of all, I think people unfairly shit on Ghostbusters 2. Is it as good as Ghostbusters 1? No. but that's almost unfair because Ghostbusters 1 is damn near fucking perfect. Ghostbusters 2 is funny and thoroughly entertaining. I mean, the courtroom scene alone is worth the price of admission. That's worth your time right there. But you could have made a dozen Ghostbusters movies, and they would have all been at least fun. Let's see. I want to go back up in the chat. I just thought, like, I just remember somebody said something about Pirates of the Caribbean. Maybe that was even Razor Fist. I don't know. I guess maybe it's gone now. Yeah, it might have been gone. I actually like those Pirates movies. I haven't seen the last one. I saw, I think, 4 of them. There's the original trilogy of them, which I thought were good. I think the first one is amazing, actually. I love it. Now, part of that's because I had no fucking expectations. I mean, I'm not a big fan of pirates as a genre. There really haven't been any good pirate movies in almost the entirety of my lifetime up until that point. And it's a movie based off of a fucking Disney ride. I went to go see that thing and like, this is going to suck. And I was very pleasantly surprised with that. And I found the first 4 movies at least entertaining. Oh, yeah, somebody mentions Lindsay Ellis left Twitter. Apparently, actually, you know what? I want to bring that up. Somebody sent me a tweet. I want to read through this. So, yeah, Lindsay Ellis apparently had an emotional fit and just quit Twitter. Her lesbian gal pal, Nella, said that, you know, she couldn't handle the bans, is why. I know, shocking. A feminist couldn't handle the bans. So, somebody by the Twitter handle of Candy S Black 1, I don't know who this is. The fucking bio looks like it's in Russian or some shit. I don't know. Like Russian alphabet shit. So I don't know who this is. Don't know at all. But she had a huge fucking rant on Twitter about this. Let me bring it up here. Okay, so hey, I just read Lindsay Ellis has left Twitter. LMAO. Next tweet. Why on earth am I responding to this? Because I had read the thread that Lindsay Ellis had posted a while back complaining that film critics on YouTube did not want to collab with her. How about that? I knew exactly why they were avoiding her. Now that she's gone, I will tell you. I kept my lips sealed all this time. I had blocked her and did not want to feed into her drama. But now I tell you how I experienced Lindsay Ellis and why you need to stop treating her like a victim of Twitter. Pardon me. That little weasel went and made a whole video about the male gaze just because I mentioned that term, which is a film studies term, on Reddit in a response to CP's turf video. I don't know what that is about. She also changed her alias to Lindsay S. Pumpkin because mine was Candy S. Black to mock me. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. For your information, Lindsay, the alias Candy S. Black was adopted in reference to a woman that an ex had once cheated on me with. Her name was Candy Brown, so I adopted the alias Candy Black for myself back then to deal with the hurt of being cheated upon. Oh, that's fun. You're making fun of a girl that was cheated on. That's nice, Lindsay. Stay classy. If you had simply asked me, I would have told you where my alias came from and why I adopted it. But you had to go and make fun of me, my alias, and my media studies behind my back. Plainly show, oh, fuck, feminists are boring. Anyways, I was dismayed at how petty and mocking Lindsay was just because I commented on her friend's video. Holy shit, dude. There's something in here. There's like 100 fucking tweets on here, but something in here that caught my attention earlier. Okay, here we go. A friend of mine who is a Greek film reviewer on YouTube with 10,000s of views on his video had told me he had started out as a young film critic, being a huge fan of Nostalgia Chick and Nostalgia Critic. He had quit following Lindsay because he too felt she had a cynic. In one of the live streams, Lindsay Ellis literally said that she is no longer defined by what I like. She thinks that sounds adult and mature when it sounds bored and jaded and defeated. That she wondered why other YouTube film essayists and critics won't collaborate with her. Here is why. Lindsay, you can plainly tell you are no longer doing this, discussing films because you like it. The other film critics on YouTube do this because they like films. And like me and my friend, they too can seem you are not passionate anymore. They can tell you are discussing Disney movies and Transformers for the sake of the bottom line, clicks and subs. Do you want me to link to the live stream you did with CP? I don't know who that is. Where you literally said that you were on the phone with Disney. A serious film critic does not discuss their work with Disney seemingly to get the go-ahead before posting it. That's not criticism. So instead of mocking my fellow movie buffs, try using the extra time you now have on your hands to make a film essay, not about another blockbuster action movie, but about a little-known movie you sincerely like, if you can still find one. Kind of interesting. Let's see. Going through the chat here. She rage quit. Yes. Let's see. Trolling made her fuck off pretty much. Let's see. Lindsay made a great anal gangbang scene. Yeah, I doubt she did that. But I'm sure Todd in the watching chair has audio of it going on in the next room. That fucking cuck. I should check out his Twitter, actually. I wonder what he has to say about his fucking roommate. What the hell is his Twitter? I don't know. Hang on. I was actually typing watching chair there. That's Todd in the Shadows is the official name. Let's see. Yeah, he still fucking lives with her. Cause she's my best friend. You sad fucking shell of a man. Let's see. No, I guess he doesn't. Huh. Guess not. Let's see. Yeah, his Twitter, it says it's nothing but him and his faggot dog. Gamergate broke him. Yeah, his Twitter is nothing but like pictures of his fucking dog. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to take pictures of my dog back when he was still among the living, but you know, that wasn't the whole of my fucking Twitter timeline. She's my best friend. Fucking gay. Yeah. It's no wonder Todd plays the piano all the time. He's got to drown out the sound of Lindsay getting railed by Tyrone in the next room. Oh, man. That guy got just hit. Just cuck my shit up, fam. Let's see. Gamergate broke him. Lindsay is the feminist bitch queen of the left. She really is just a despicable ass fucking person. And I know she'll have another Twitter account in a few months. I guarantee it. She'll be back. All around me are familiar faces. Yeah, that's Todd, all right. But yeah, she'll be back. Can you imagine on Twitter right now where, being to the right of Karl Marx will get you fucking banned? Being someone like Lindsay and thinking it's a hostile environment for you? When the mods will bend over backwards to ban everybody that hurts your fifis, bitch. Like, you talk about not being able to take the bans. Ugh. I don't know what's been going on here. I got nothing to do tonight, man. I slept all day, so I'm not going to go to bed till like 4. Somebody says Razorfish got kicked off Twitter. Well, this team knows why. Oh, it's so dumb if you haven't heard why he got kicked off Twitter. There was some discussion on like which of these two heavy metal guitarists is best, and one of them had the last name Lynch. So Razorfish just responds like Lynch or Lynch all the way or something like that. Well, Twitter banned him for saying Lynch. Let's be real. Twitter banned Razorfish because of his net neutrality video. Let's be real here. That's why. Pardon me. That's why they banned him. So yeah. I don't know why I was banned. I was banned for targeted abuse. 3 times I emailed them and tried to figure out why. Against who? What tweet are we talking about here? What did I do? Targeted abuse. How so? No fucking response. So I don't know what tweet did it that I got banned, but the IP blocked me. Now the IP block only works on the one browser, but the IP blocked me. Somebody says, "Why do you hate Lady Cherokee?" If you haven't seen it already, I have a video, a little animated video on there was some girl was selling women's clothing. It was Lady Cherokee Boutique on Facebook, and she was getting trolled something fierce. So Luke and I just sort of laugh at that and respond to it. I think it turned out to be a pretty good video. Let's see. But yeah, let's be real. That's why Razorfist got thrown off Twitter. He got thrown off Twitter because of his net neutrality video. I don't know why I was thrown off Twitter, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I know the general reason. I'm to the right of Karl Marx, but what exactly caused them to how exactly I caught their attention in the first fucking place? I couldn't tell you. There is a rumor that I have a troll account on Twitter. This is, of course, a vicious rumor. Completely unfounded. Let's see. Now, in the aftermath of the Twitter ban, a lot of people are going to Gab. And I've been on Gab for a while, but a lot of people are basically refugees heading to Gab. You get a few basic bitches on there. They're like mad that Gab doesn't have a block button and stuff like that. It's like, get the fuck over it. He says guilt by association. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how I caught their attention. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I mean, who the fuck am I? I put out streams that maybe get 1,000 views roughly. Who the fuck am I? How was I? I think I had like 1,400 Twitter followers or something. How the fuck was I big enough to even notice? Yeah, I don't get why that happened. The hell else did I want to talk about tonight? There was something else. I know there was something else. I'll probably remember it after I finish the stream. Oh, while I remember sponsors. Sponsors Aaron Clary Books. You're probably too late to get anything for Christmas. You order online. I don't know. Maybe you can get rush delivery, but you're probably fucked on ordering something for Christmas. But maybe you have relatives that you don't see right on Christmas. Maybe you see them sometime between Christmas and New Year's or something. You can still get them a Christmas present. You get them Aaron Clary's books. Worthless, Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty, Reconnaissance Man, Enjoy the Decline, Bachelor Pad Economics, just name a few. Full of a lot of useful, big brotherly advice. So check out Aaron Clary's books. And if you enjoy the show, you can check out my PayPal. Send me some shekels there. You can check out the Patreon. You can send me some shekels there. Both are greatly appreciated. You'd be a regular contributor on the Patreon. You could just send a one-time donation on the PayPal. You know, even if it's just $1 or $2, that's greatly appreciated. All right. So he says, when I was still in Gab, I had over 1,000 followers, but I got tired of social media. I'm not sure how many followers I have on Gab. I haven't really used it as much as I should until recently. I have just under 600. But again, I don't really, I've only posted 758 times on there. And I have following 42 people, it seems. Let's see. Well, here's an interesting video story. Maybe I'll talk about this. See if I can bring this up. Kind of an old story, but it's actually from January of 2016. So, headline, this is on thechurchmilitant.com, a very conservative Catholic site. So, you know, before you accuse me of Protestant rage, bear in mind the source. Article, half of priests and bishops are gay. Subtitle, as much as half of priests and bishops are homosexual. Here's the headline, as much as half of priests and bishops in the U.S. may be homosexual. Now the details. Back in 2000, just as news of the homosexual priest sex abuse scandal was beginning to break, Kansas City started an in-depth expose on a horrible topic, the large number of homosexual priests dying of AIDS. Oh shit. A large number of priests dying of AIDS. The newspapers reporting brought to public life for the first time on this kind of a scale the issue of homosexual in the priesthood, albeit through the tragic lens of AIDS. Catholic Church is closed due to AIDS. Oh. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Okay. And scene. The issue of I can't even do it. Nothing systemically wrong here. Nothing to see here, folks. The newspaper conducted extensive research into the related issues of AIDS and homosexuality within clerical ranks and religious communities. Far from denying the paper story, sorry, the Bishop of Kansas at the time, Raymond Bolin, admitted the findings were true and said, much as much as we would regret it, it shows that human nature is human nature. Okay. The issue of the AIDS deaths aside, God rest their souls. Okay. Okay, keep it together. It reveals the reality of homosexuality within the ranks of the ordained, not just its presence, but its overwhelming presence. At the same time the KC Star was publishing its series of reports, another report, much less known, was also being circulated, this time in private meetings in the church. It was prepared by the National Federation of Priests Council, a group born from the liberal days of sexual revolution in the wake of Vatican II. In its 32 pages, it vividly discussed the AIDS crisis among priests, owing to the large number of homosexual men in the one true church, ladies and gentlemen. Its contents contain discussions of how each diocese and religious order should go about preparing for the financial strain of caring for so many priests with AIDS. Oh God, I'm dying of laughter over here. Okay. You know, when I throw my money in the collection plate at church on Sunday, I'm pretty sure the pastor doesn't need it for AIDS medicine. I'm just saying. Okay, I can't breathe. I've only skimmed this article before. I didn't really know how fucking funny it is. Okay. All right. Real talk here. All right. That's financial strength. God damn. I should have brought Luke on because I can't even keep it together. Cause see, as I'm reading this, I'm picturing every fucking hyper trad fucker on Twitter lecturing me about the one true church. Okay. All right. I'm okay. All right. It makes recommendations about whether to screen seminaries for HIV. Oh, shit. Okay. A policy eventually adopted across the country. Experts in the field about the arrested psychosexual development of homosexual men in the seminary and in priesthood. The research and investigations being conducted back in 2000, both from the clerical organization and secular media outlets, began unearthing disturbing parallels. Priests and even bishops were dying of AIDS at alarming rates. In 1995, New York Auxiliary Bishop Emerson Moore died of AIDS. I'm just thinking of the song from Team America where it's like, he died of AIDS. Okay. in Minnesota hospice. Across the country, estimates from assorted experts put the number of Catholic priests dying from the disease as high as 1,000 in roughly a 10 to 15-year span. Numbers were showing that priests were becoming infected and dying at a rate as high as 10 times the national average. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, God, that's so funny. Oh, God. The celibate clergy is dying from a sexually transmitted disease at a rate of 10 times the general population. Oh, oh. It's the one true church, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Oh. All this strongly suggested the number of homosexual men in the Catholic priesthood was much higher than even the most suspicious had guessed. It wasn't long before the truth started coming out, tied as it was to the AIDS death news. Numerous independent sources within the church began polling and interviewing and questioning and researching. The results were jaw-dropping. One survey done by New Jersey Franciscan priest and researcher revealed that 45% of 500 priests surveyed volunteered that they were gay, and 1 in 4 of them. No, this is a joke now, right? No. 1 in 4? 1 in 4. Oh, shit. Proving a rampant promiscuity. It can't even be that high among the gay population. AIDS can't even be at 25% among the gay population. It can't even be that high. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So he says, where is this article? This article is on churchmilitant.com. There's a video attached to it, but the article is, if you just Google church militant and half of priests and bishops are gay, I think you'll come up with it. Okay. 1 in 4. Holy shit, dude. Over the years, a large number of surveys, polls, and research has produced a wide range of estimates of the percentage of men in the ranks of the ordained who are homosexual, as low as 15%, all the way up to 58%. The lowest estimate, by the way, is considerably higher than among the general population. Oh, it even says that. This compares to the overall national percentage of about 1.5%. So the lowest estimate is that homosexuality is 10 times more common among the ordained Catholic priests. Even if the lowball estimate of 15% of priests are gay is right, he even says this, it would be 10 times the national average. And if the high end is closer to reality, then over half of all men in priesthood are homosexual and would represent a population almost 50 times the national average. 50 times. Where are we going with all this? That's a good question. Underscoring some of the reports from last week that the church in America and other countries in the West is controlled by a homosexual collective. The most in-your-face example of which was the recent outlandish scandal and alleged cover-up of the Archdiocese of New York. The destruction rained down on innocent souls in the care of Cardinal Timothy Dolan and his New York Archdiocese Chancery is shameful, scandalous, and sinful, and has happened as a result of one of the accused homosexual priests and the extensive cover-up and excusing of his actions by influential and higher-ranking officials in the Chancery and even in Rome. This week's Mic'd Up begins to unravel the cover-up and peers more closely in the civil case. Okay, this is a link for a video of theirs. Here's the situation in a nutshell. The American Catholic Church is largely controlled by homosexual clergy and their allies. I'm not sure if it's just the I'd say probably the Vatican too. I mean, the Pope's a fucking Marxist. And didn't they just break up a fucking drug-fueled gay orgy at the Vatican? So I don't think this is just a problem in the American Catholic Church. Those not in the network are powerless to confront it, owing to its vast influence and fear factor, as well as not really understanding of how it operates. The Catholic establishment media won't get within a million miles of this issue of the homosexual collective because they are too scared. It's more than that. They won't touch it because they won't see what they don't want to see. That's why they won't touch it. It's not fear. It kind of is fear, but it's Catholics don't merely place their faith in God or even the Scripture. They place their faith in an organization, and they won't see what they don't want to see. Every problem in the Catholic Church in their minds has to be a bug and not a feature. There can't be any truly systemic problems. It has to be flukes. It has to be the few bad apples and all the other bullshit excuses they'll give for this shit. They cannot, not even will not, they cannot admit how deep the rot is. All right, so, but you lay faithful and independent Catholic media outlets such as Church Militant, as well as others, don't suffer from being wedded to the establishment. That's why we can pour resources into this. It goes on. Okay, so this is the last couple paragraphs are this Church Militant sucking its own dick for reporting this. Holy shit, dude. That was fucking hilarious. That was wow. Like, I only kind of skimmed that article. I didn't shit, dude. Oh man. Somebody says, "Oh, Christian would be going mad if he were here." Well, I mean, 1 in 4. Holy shit, dude. I mean, when you're talking about numbers of homosexuality that are at best 10 times the general population and at worst over 50 times, yeah. You'd probably get HIV from kissing a bishop's ring. Well, you might get E. coli because that finger's possibly been up someone's ass. Catholic priests are taking biohazard time bombs. Let's see. Large rates of homosexuality and AIDS, also large rates of child molestation. Oh, yeah. And again, what's worse with the child molestation is the covering it up. The systematic covering it up. Let's see. He won't touch it for fear of AIDS. Oh, man. I just about lost it, dude. It was so funny. Holy shit, man. The one true church, ladies and gentlemen. The one true church. Dying of AIDS. That's not wine in the that's not wine in the cup. That's pause loads. Bechtloff, I sent you a link to an article on Skype. Okay, what's this? Copy link. Let's see what this is. It's going to make me laugh as much as the last one. Okay, so this is on the Federalist.com. The article is titled New York Times op-eds, parents who don't send their kids to public schools are racist theocrats. Oh, it's responding to one of those articles that, you know, whatever. I mean, yeah, we all know liberals are stupid. And by the way, if you have kids and you send them to public school, you're wrong. You're wrong. Stop it. But they were basically worthless when I was in them, and I graduated high school like 15 years ago. Catholic Church, 10 times the average pause. I mean, 1 in 4. I know they're full of degenerate bug chasers and shit like that. But is even the gay population dying of AIDS at a rate of 1 in 4? So he says, man dies of laugh. Headline, man dies of laughter due to church AIDS. Anti-pause medicines are expensive. Yeah, that's where your collection plate money's going. What's more pause, a Catholic seminary or gay nightclub? Oh man. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. Somebody says, Merry Christmas, brother. Well, thank you. I think I'll do a Christmas Eve stream. If I do, it'd probably be, I don't know if it'd be late, but it won't be early in the evening. Probably like 10, 11. As I said, I have dinner plans with friends and family. Going to Hibachi Grill, as I always do for Christmas Eve. Hibachi Grill. That's my traditional Christmas dinner. So yeah, I'll probably do a Christmas Eve stream after that because I come home, I'll probably be wide awake. What else is there to do? But yeah, that's about all we got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Hopefully this was an entertaining show. I know like half of it was just me fucking laughing. But holy shit, dude. I don't think any Catholic's gonna be able to run their mouth about the one true church again without me laughing so hard I nearly pissed myself. Like, how bad does it have to get, Catholics, until you give up the ghost on this? And that's you're telling me to abandon my faith? I'm telling you to abandon the institution. I didn't tell you to abandon your faith in God. I didn't tell you to abandon your faith in Scripture. I told you to abandon your faith in an institution because this institution has AIDS. It has a shit ton of AIDS. All right. Like, how bad does it have to get? I believe in the doctrine of eternal security. I believe when you're saved, period. Nothing's going to change that. No one will pluck you from the Father's hands. And the Catholics like to attack that doctrine. But it's interesting. They have the same doctrine. They just apply it to an institution, not to individuals. In their minds, the Catholic Church is the one true church, and nothing it can ever do or cease to do can ever change that. Yeah. Somebody says, doing some quick calculations, 1 in 10 gay men have HIV. That's shocking. Holy shit. But that's not 1 in 4. So the Roman Catholic Church has a higher rate of HIV than the gay population. Somebody says, I sent you some more fun Catholic news from my area. Who sent me what now? Copy link location. Former St. John's Birchman's employee charged with inappropriate conduct with a student. Huh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. All right, so everybody, if I don't talk to you again before Christmas, if I don't get on here again before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. Yeah. And like I said, if you enjoy the show, check out sponsor Aaron Clary Books, and check out the Patreon, check out the PayPal. Help me keep doing what I'm doing. And that's all I got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.